what I always ask myself is this coach a national championship type of coach? Most right now will say, well, hell yeah, Mike Norvell is. I mean, he won 19 straight. Mike Norvell got snubbed out of a playoff opportunity. Mike Norvell just produced 10 NFL draft picks and 3 others who are on practice squads right now in the National Football League. He's one of the best coaches in the game. All right? He's also now, in his 5 years at Florida State, has begun 0-2 in 3 of those 5 years. And should have lost the game 2 years ago where they had it won against LSU. Somehow they fumble at the 1-yard line, allow LSU to go 99 yards in no time. Yet they had a PAT blocked in that particular victory for Florida State. And right now the program just appears to be toxic. And I've given this a lot of thought. I really have. And I've spoken with some people, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what's happening with the program and how did things change so significantly in 1 year. I think one of the best definitions that I've heard, and we talked about this last week, is if you go to the defensive line and you look at what they had over the last couple of years, going back to a player like, let's say, Jermaine Johnson, who they got from Georgia. First-round draft pick, is off to a decent NFL career, better than average career with the New York Jets. And then a guy like Jared Verse and a guy like Braden Fisk. And that defensive line was so hungry, man. They were starving. They led by example, but they played hard every single play. I made this comment earlier today on Helmets and Heels with the ladies. Say what you want about Saturday and Sunday night. We watched Texas A&M Notre Dame, and we watched USC LSU. You know what we saw? We saw 60 minutes of both teams laying it on the line. Every single play. Incredible effort. Playing for one another. Playing for their school. Playing for the founding fathers. Playing for their coach. Look at the criticisms that's come in on losing coaches. Dabo Swinney. Brian Kelly, okay? Obviously, Napier and what's the fool's name over in God's country? Oh, yeah, Norvell, okay? Look at the criticism. But those 4 teams played hard. It was almost difficult to say, wow, that team has to lose. Texas A&M, you have to lose. LSU, you have to lose. And I could care less about any one of those 4 schools. It was sensational. It's what this game is all about. And then after that, you look at the crap that Florida State pulled off on Saturday with the complete, total lack of effort. And again, that defensive line for years, or at least the last couple, played hungry. Remember Mickey Andrews talking about, can I see the bones? And the bones wasn't because you haven't been working out. It's not because you're not muscular. The bones are how hungry are you? This defensive line is acting as if they just got done with a buffet. They are slow, and they are fat, and they are uninterested. So again, I tried to look at this every way that I could in getting to the conclusion of which program has a coach that is going to get you closest to winning a national championship. It's not going to happen with Florida. That's a mistake. And you got the most brutal schedule this year in college football. That's just not going to happen. Okay? But that may end up benefiting you more than you believe, especially if you can get Lane Kiffin. Now, people at Ole Miss are telling me he's not going. They're telling me it's a better job right now in Mississippi, which I laugh at. You know what Mississippi is? It's a non-pressure job. Mississippi's a happy home. You can win 7, 8 games, 9 games, maybe double digits, win yourself an egg bowl. First of all, they're not smart people in Mississippi. They are the lowest common denominator as far as human beings. Year after year after year, if you look at their education, they are always last by state. It's a very stupid audience in Mississippi. But they're going to tell you, we have a better job. They haven't won a national title since they split one in 1960. And I'm not talking about some guy over at the Oxford Tack Shop who came up with a national title and handed it to Mississippi. I'm talking about legitimate records. They split one in 60. 1960, okay? And they won an SEC championship in 1962. That is it. The rest of the 60s, the hippie movement, Peyton Ashbury, Grateful Dead. From Seattle, ladies and gentlemen, it's Jimi Hendrix. The 70s. Have sex with everyone. Have 10 partners. There's no diseases. The 80s. Cocaine. Let's have a part. The 90s. The turn of the millennium. Into 2010. Mississippi wins nothing. It's not a better job. You can win a title at Florida. You cannot at Mississippi. I tell you this every single year. Stop wasting our time. Texas A&M doesn't win titles. Oregon doesn't win titles. Virginia Tech doesn't win titles. Mississippi doesn't win titles. They don't. It's a better job. So who's actually in a better position today, Florida State or Florida? It's Florida. They have an opportunity to get a new coach. They have an opportunity to get Lane Kiffin. You got Mike Norvell, who burnt his first year of recruiting by playing in that meaningless rematch between Memphis and Cincinnati. Remember that one? Remember he held Florida State hostage for an extra couple of weeks? I know Napier did the same thing, but at least it was announced at Florida. You had Dan Hicken, my buddy, going on TV saying, oh, well, Mike Norvell apparently is going to be the coach. You know, they try to get Bob Stoops, Mark Stoops, Amos Alonso Stagg, Vince Lombardi, Lince Lombardi's brother. I mean, he mentioned like 9 coaches. I'll never forget the news report. Okay, and Norvell had to do it his way. I don't even remember who the athletic director was that week. Florida State goes through ADs and presidents the way that Rosie O'Donnell goes through a buffet. Okay? And that includes the newest hammerhead over there in Arnold, who apparently ripped up all the great seats for longtime season ticket holders, put in these now overly expensive. It's going to be like watching a game at Yankee Stadium. You notice they don't show a lot behind home plate at Yankee Stadium. You know why they don't show it? Because those seats are so ridiculously expensive. Even when they're playing good baseball, only about half the people actually buy them up. Apparently that's going to be what's going on over in God's country. So Norvell held the program hostage, sacrificed the recruiting class. He's now 2-10 lifetime without Jordan Travis as a starting quarterback. He inherited James Blackman. That was a problem. But I thought this was the quarterback whisperer, right? I thought this was the man who could look at a guy and say, he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback. And I'll give him credit. He made Jordan Travis a heck of a lot better. He also did nothing with Chubba Purdy, nothing with Tate Rodemaker, nothing with A.J. Duffy. Don't Brock Glenn me. Brock Glenn's not the answer. It's Luke Kromenhoek or nothing. It's not Brock Glenn. That's another waste of time for the current Florida State. I mean, remember he played Mackenzie Milton over Jordan, the Notre Dame game. He played Mackenzie Milton. That was another game in which Florida State went for it on 4th down from their side of the field. I mean, Mike Norvell did that in the 3rd quarter. That is a definition of freaking out. That is a definition of panic. So what happened? And everyone thinks that they have the answer. I'll tell you exactly what happened. The football team had its feelings hurt. They were robbed. They got left out of the 4-team playoff. And what happened after? They quit. 28 guys quit. That's today. It's my fault. It's people my age. It's our fault. You know why? Half our marriages end in divorce. We were raised to do the right thing, to work hard, to honor your commitment, but somehow we got away from it. So half our marriages end in crap today's kids, and you have them, and I have them, they spend 2 weeks as a waiter, and they say, the general manager looked at me wrong. I want to quit. Oh, you're now third string at this particular school. I want to transfer. Quitting is accepted today. And they accepted it at Florida State when 28 of those players cowardly exited, and they got blown out 63-3. Lost in all of this is Mike Norvell won because of Jordan Travis. Go back to the Florida game 2 years ago. I don't even think Charlie Ward would have the escapability to win that game. And Florida State never put people away. They were trailing. They always found a way to come back and win. The greatest untold story of it all is Mike Norvell did not have Florida State ready against Northern Alabama, or whatever the hell the team was, Southern Alabama. You were down 13-0. So you had to run Jordan Travis, and his leg fell off, okay? Because Mike Norvell, I just heard Frank and Hayes talking about Mississippi winning a game 76-0. You know what great teams do? They put their opponent away. You destroy your opponent. Florida State didn't. It was the same Florida State. Before you knew it, they were down 13-0. It's one thing if Travis goes down and gets hurt against LSU or Florida or Miami or Clemson. You lost them against North Alabama because the team wasn't ready. Because Mike Norvell wasn't ready. Before that, he lied to his players. He lied to them. Flat out lied. Okay? Mike Norvell, you are stuck with this man. And what's the last thing he did? Once again, he held the Seminole head hostage by playing the exact same role as Jimbo Fisher. You would think just once in a lifetime, someone would say, I love it here. I'm not going anywhere else. No, he had to listen to Jimmy Sexton, who said, hold out. You're going to get more money. Hold out. They think you're going to Alabama. Even after the snub, even after these Florida State fans sat up and freaking took on anyone, took more punches than I've ever seen them take before. They fought a lot harder for this than they did, let's say, back in 1996. Okay? They took every punch. And Mike Norvell still made you wait it out to get his $10 million a year. So, where are Florida State fans now? I'll tell you exactly where you are. You're locked into a coach whose players have quit on him. You're locked into a coach that has a toxic program. You're locked into a coach that is as soft as puppy poo at the line of scrimmage. And you got him for another 7 or 8 years. Florida is in a better position right now than Florida State because they can whack Billy Napier. Florida State cannot. You're stuck with this man as a coach. The same man who's 2-10 without Jordan Travis as your quarterback. You got a ton of finger pointing going on right now. NIL players who aren't working hard, a quarterback who they don't trust, a coach in Alex Atkins. Oh, if he was there, they'd win. Well, guess what? He got caught cheating. How in the hell does someone get caught cheating during an NIL? And then he lied to the investigators. So don't Alex Atkins me. He cheated and he lied. And it's cost him 3 games. And by the way, while you're at it, if you think Alex Atkins is so great, name me one offensive lineman that he's recruited who's done anything besides eat and go to the bathroom in God's country. One guy. Every single one is a transfer. He's recruited nothing. Kind of like Ron Dugans on the heels of Lawrence Dawsey. 2 phenomenal players in their own right at Florida State. Suck as coaches. Are you going to give Ronnie Dugans credit for Johnny Wilson? I mean, are you going to do that? Are you going to give him credit for Keon Coleman? Are you really going to sit there and do it? Are you that freaking stupid? What players has he developed? What players did Lawrence Dawsey develop? You got Adam Fuller running a 4.25 against a team that runs the ball 52 times, and you still have two safeties back. You're not smart enough to put in a third linebacker. You're not smart enough to put in a fifth defensive lineman. You can see it from the bar stool. Oh, no, we're going to run it 4.25. That's what we do here. Well, guess what? It's not working. They ran for 263 yards. It's a bad coaching staff. And I hate it for you because I know I've had battles with Florida State fans over the years because I will not carry the freaking water. I'm always going to tell you the truth. But you've taken the punches. You laid out. You laid out in Dublin. You laid out to everyone, and they have let you down. And you know what? They don't care. These guys don't care. They're transfer guys who got paid. They don't care. Only a few do. And that's one of the major problems of collegiate athletics nowadays. These kids don't care. My Twitter's filled with former Florida State players. Angry, upset, feelings hurt. Do you think Patrick Payton cares? Do you think Joshua Farmer cares? Do you think DJ Uiagalelei cares? You got yourself a real bad problem right now in Tallahassee. You do. And Florida may win 2 games. They actually have a better situation because they are going to be able to fix it. Okay? Florida State, you're married to this. Hey, Mike Norvell, stop freaking apologizing. Okay? Stop apologizing. You've done it now 2 weeks in a row. Man up. Stop celebrating with your team in Dublin for an extra 36 hours after you lose. What are you going to do this week? Take them out to see Shamu? I mean, is that where you're going, SeaWorld? Man up. Get them to fight. Stop apologizing. Your fans are pissed. They trusted you. You let them down. You held them hostage to make more money. And coward is the word that I'm using. Your program, you're the leader. A coward program that quit. That's my alma mater.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here. Thanks so much for checking out 1010XL Seminoles page. If you're looking for more college football content, you can head over to the Gators page, or if you want some professional football content, check out our 1010XL Jaguars page.